Hi everyone, my name is Jason Cataldo. I'm 43 years old from a small town in rural Pennsylvania called Sugar Grove. In 2019, while investigating the horrific gang rape and murder of a local teenage girl the cops covered up, I stumbled into the greatest conspiracy in human history. I totally solved the puzzle of the New World Order, and you're not going to believe what is really going on. First and foremost, I need to tell you I am not mentally ill or on drugs, nor did I even believe in God when all this started. Everything I'm about to talk to you about has happened to me personally. The supporting evidence comes directly from scriptural references, both canonical and apocryphal, and others like me who are out there fighting the good fight to try and prevent a nuclear war engineered by the fallen angels that will destroy human civilization and leave our world in a radiated nightmare hellscape. I am not kidding. This is real. All right, to start off, I just want to give you a very brief rundown of what has happened to me over the last 4 years. In 2019, a girl was gang raped and murdered in Erie, PA, where I was working as a plumber. Cops covered it up, made me pretty mad. She was a mentally challenged homeless teenager that had nothing and no one, and I thought she deserved justice. I went to the site where her body was found, an abandoned paper mill known as the Hammer Mill paper mill in Erie. Her body was found shoved down a 40-foot deep pit that was surrounded by these weird occult symbols. I looked into the origin of them and learned that they were all sigils of fallen angels, with the most prominent sigil being that of Azazel, the archangel of death. Now, before I go any further, I just want to go ahead and play for you guys a preview from the 1998 movie Fallen, starring Denzel Washington, about a spirit that possesses people and uses them to commit murders, named Azazel. This was actually the first time I had ever heard mention of this entity. I actually seen this movie in high school. Never thought that I would find myself in the basically the same role as Denzel, but in real life. Let's go ahead and watch this, and then we'll start from there.
Edgar Reese.
Monsieur, it's the brilliant detective who sealed my brutish fate. Remember this, Hobbs? What goes around really goes around.
You have a safe trip, yeah?
Is on my side.
Go ahead! Light up my life! Criminals like Reese, they kill a few people, somehow it ain't their fault. But what took place tonight is the consequences of what I do.
You're home early today.
Or a change.
Detective John Hobbs wants to uncover the truth.
What does Azazel mean? Now, my dictionary says that evil spirit of the wilderness.
Walk away, Mr. Hobbs.
But nothing in this world
Is on my side.
can help him solve this case.
There are angels. Some of these angels were cast down, and a few of the fallen were punished by being deprived of form.
Come on, get out of here.
And each touch
And at the execution, did he try and touch you?
Yeah, he did, actually.
passes the soul of a killer into someone new.
Well, I believe what I see, and I'm still trying to get my mind around what I just saw.
Some things, pal, you shouldn't know.
I know you, Hobbs.
Put the gun down.
I know who you are.
Put the gun down!
Time is on my side. Hey, pal.
My work is based upon evidence.
And aren't your facts resistant to normal interpretation?
Hey, Hobbs.
You leave my family alone.
But I'm still having fun.
Denzel Washington,
How do we fight him? Is it even possible?
I believe it is.
John Goodman,
Josie, you know I didn't do this.
I know it is, Hobbs.
Donald Sutherland,
I know you know more than you're saying.
Haven't you done enough, huh?
Time is on my side.
Fallen.
Okay. Sounds preposterous. I know. Believe me, I know. The part where it's showing Denzel having his mind totally blown away when he realizes this thing is real, and the woman walks up to him and says, "There's some things that you just shouldn't know." I've had people come up to me and say very similar things. Now, this is going to sound just absolutely crazy. I ran into him at that paper mill March 9th, 2019. I was looking into the area and I found a series of tunnels that kept just going down and down, further down and down. And I come around a corner and I stood face to face. This is remarkably similar to what I had seen, but his clothes weren't. Oh my god, that's so creepy. It looks just like him. His clothes weren't all raggedy like this. I mean, this is literally, oh my gosh, this is so weird. This is the first time I'm seeing this image. It was literally a tunnel like this, except there was two giant metal double doors at the end of it. But I mean, it looked almost identical to this, except he had long shoulder length hair, and his suit wasn't all ripped up like this. He had a very well tailored suit. Apparently, he likes fine clothing. Um, he's the king of the world. He's the guy that rules the world right now. Atlas, Azazel, Satan. It's a fallen angel, and he's possessing millions, if not billions, of people right now that have taken the mark of the beast. Okay, I'm saving this image right here. This stuff is real. It's really happening. I have spent the last 4 years of my life and every penny I have earned trying to tell people about this, trying to warn people about this, and no one believes me. The only person that I've spoken to that has believed me was a messianic rabbi that had a congregation in Erie. I went in to speak to him one day. By the end of my story, he was in tears, told me to leave his temple to never come back. Within a month, he had moved his entire congregation. I actually hired a private investigator to find out what happened. He had moved his entire congregation to the mountains of Colorado. They bought land up in the mountains, and 2, 3 dozen parishioners all moved to the mountains because he knows this is real. This is really happening, okay? From here on in, I'm not going to be using a script. I'm basically just going to be surfing the web to show you how I did the research into this stuff, how I reached the conclusions that I have made. I was a lifelong atheist, and now I'm literally ready to die for God in order to prevent a nuclear war and the subsequent judgment of God that follows. Babylon is rising. If we let it happen, we are going to be enslaved. Fallen angels and their offspring, the Nephilim, are all around us. There are hundreds of millions of them scattered around the world. They look just like you and me, except they have magic powers because they're the descendants of angels. This is why you go into a bookstore or on Amazon and you find so many occult spell books because that stuff's real. How do I know it's real? Because I have actually used magic when I was a teenager. I summoned some sort of weird white triangle, vibrating triangle of light. It scared the hell out of me, and I pretended it didn't happen for most of my life. It was only recently that these memories began to resurface, as well as memories of other oddities that I had seen as a child. And I'm sure a lot of you people watching this right now have seen some weird stuff in your life too. Balls of light, shadow people, werewolves, vampires. It's all real. This is why every ancient society, every ancient culture has these same legends, because this stuff is real. And in ancient Sumer, they tried to warn us about this stuff. They left clay tablets warning us about this stuff, saying this stuff was real. The Bible says this stuff is real. People claim to be Christian and that they believe in God, but when I tell them that this stuff is happening, they act like I'm making it up, like I'm crazy or something. Or they just say, you can just pray those evil spirits away. No, you can't. Did you see David praying Goliath away? No, he killed him. Okay, this is a war. This isn't just a spiritual war at this point because of CERN. I think that's a good place to start right now. Is I'm going to show you guys the true purpose of the CERN particle accelerator. Now, I don't know how many of you people are familiar with this. What this thing does, it builds black holes. It creates black holes. A black hole, also known as a wormhole, is a means of tunneling into other points in space-time as well as other dimensions. Creation is multidimensional in nature. Us humans, we experience 3 dimensions. Well, 4 if you consider time. However, our perception of time varies greatly from theirs. They are able to see into the future and see into the past because they are higher dimensional beings that came down to our reality. They're not aliens from another planet. They're fallen angels from a different dimension. They got kicked out of heaven and were flying around in space and then decided, hey, let's go down to planet Earth and see what kind of trouble we can cause. They used this thing to free these fallen angels. The CERN logo is 3 sixes, 666. CERN comes from a pagan god known as Cernanos, a horned-headed god, a demon god, who is Baphomet. You may have heard of this guy before. The worship of this guy is getting real popular right now. There's churches springing up all over the country right now worshiping this guy. The creepy thing is, every one of his statues, every single church with this guy's statue has little kids looking up at him. A couple little kids, a boy and a girl, always has a little boy and a little girl. This is a different this is different. These are different statues. This isn't the same statue. This is different places. Look at these idiots sitting there thinking that this is cool. Like, yeah, let's worship the devil. Not knowing that this thing's intention, all these morons, this thing intends to see your world destroyed, okay? If you're worshiping these things, these demons, they want to bring hell on earth. They hate you. Even if you're one of their descendants, they still hate you. They hate everything because they hate themselves. They want to destroy all of creation, including God. They literally think that they can kill God. I hate to break it to them, but just performing an arcane ritual to um, force the avatar of God into a human body. I don't know what you guys seem to think, how you're going to destroy infinity, but you can't. Like, you guys are literally bringing judgment down upon yourself. This crap is everywhere, and these are the ones behind it. This G right here, everyone talks, they think it stands for geometry or God. It stands for Grigori, which is the Russian name for these fallen angels. Okay? These guys are engineering a nuclear war right now. How many of you have ever played Fallout? Post-apocalyptic video game, real popular game. This is one of the in-game graphics. Definitely a cult symbol right there, the all-seeing eye. The New Vegas expansion, you even have their symbols in the game's graphics. Bethesda Software, the company that makes that, Bethesda is an occult word. Their symbols are everywhere in this game because it's an inside joke, because they intend on starting a nuclear war. In scripture, they talk about the Lord of Fortresses. I believe it's Paul in Thessalonians speaking of the Lord of Fortresses, the man of lawlessness. Okay, that's Azazel, the archangel of death. They have been building underground facilities all over the world, connecting them together with tunnels. And I think that's what I did. I stumbled into one of their tunnel systems, and they knew I was going to do this. And that's why they had him waiting there for me, that white skinned giant who I think was Azazel himself. They knew I was going to be a problem. They knew I was going to speak up against this, try to stop this. So 10 years ago, I got a package of 10 ounces of heroin delivered to my house. Had no idea what it was. I get a call from the post office. Hey, you got a package. Come down and pick it up. I go down there, sign for it. Next thing you know, I got DEA agents sticking machine guns in my face. I did 3 years in prison. It ruined me financially. Ruined me financially. I went to college. I was a web developer for most of my career. Web development and software sales. I made good money. I made almost $100,000 a year. And in the last 10 years, I have not been able to get a job making more than $25,000 a year, which is barely enough to pay your bills with nowadays. I haven't had a car since I got out of prison. I used to drive a BMW. They crippled me financially deliberately because somehow they knew that I would become a problem for them, that I would try to expose this stuff. And I have been working diligently to do so, but no one believes me because your faith is weak. Your faith is weak. The people that are supposed to be fighting the good fight, they just sit there and you guys think Jesus is just going to fix everything for you. You just seem to sit there and think Christ is just going to make it all go away and save the day. That ain't how he works, okay? God helps those whom help themselves. And you're just sitting there letting this happen. And I know it's because a lot of you don't know what to do. I know a lot of you do believe this stuff is happening, but you don't know how to address it. You don't know what to do. I have a plan to stop them. I know how to stop them. But I need money to do it. But no one gives me any money. I can't get a job. I have put in thousands of applications in over the last year. No one will hire me for some reason. Remember, it says in the book of Revelation, during the time of the beast system, unless you have the mark, you're not going to be able to participate in commerce. It's really happening right now. There are people all over the world right now experiencing similar things that I have, seeing shadow people, seeing demons. And people just sit there, and I get so many comments on my channel, so many emails from people just telling me I just need to pray it away. What, you think I haven't tried that? I've tried prayers in every freaking biblical language. I've done research into 2,000-year-old grimoires on anti-demonic spells. I've tried everything. That stuff don't work. Jesus can cast out demons, but Jesus, who knows where he is? Pretty honestly, I'm pretty sure I ran into him at one point. Pretty sure he's the Archangel Michael. In all honesty, fairly certain I ran into him a few years back. This young guy I met, he never spoke. He was always smiling. He was some homeless guy. His teeth were all rotted out. He would sit there and draw these weird pictures all the time. He'd always draw these weird pictures of the future. Like he'd walk up to me and just hand me a piece of paper of a bunch of little cartoons on it, and I'd look at it, and then I would notice over the next few days the stuff he had drawn came true. One of the things that he had drawn was a movie screen broadcasting onto the screen a skull, a movie projector. It was symbolic of Hollywood being used to manipulate you into not believing in God anymore, into becoming a bad person. Like in the 1980s, there was this big movie when I was a kid called Wall Street, and the tagline was "Greed is good," that sort of thing. They've been programming you all for decades to worship money. The name of the son of the devil in scripture is Mammon. In Hebrew, it means money. I'm going to show you why we got this all CNI on the back of all of our money. Every country in the world, at least one denomination of currency, has this symbol on there. Okay, except for North Korea and Iran. Every country in the world has this. Those are the only two countries in the world that aren't part of the Rothschild bank cartel. Everywhere else in the world, the Federal Reserve in the United States, that's part of it. It's all controlled by these demons. The banking system was set up by the Templar Knights, Canaanites. They're Canaanites. All these fallen angel descendants are Canaanites. This is why the Bible was constantly talking about killing off the Canaanites, because this is the type of crazy shit that they do. Excuse my language. They like trying to take over the world and destroying civilizations. They think this stuff is funny. They're known as the Harlequin Order of Jesters. The word Harlequin originated from the word Hell-aquin, meaning someone who had come from hell. Okay? They're here right now. They're taking over. They're in our government. And they worship this thing. I seen this thing the night I seen that giant. This thing, NASA. This is a photo NASA took. They call it a star named Fomalhaut. It's not. It's the ancient Canaanite god Dagon, I believe. It was floating in the air when I seen that giant. I thought it was like a weather balloon. I didn't realize what that thing I had seen was until I seen this Fomalhaut picture about 2 years later. Now check this out. The Eye of Sauron. Notice the similarity? Sauron comes from the word Saturn. The word Saturn is where we get our word Satan. Okay? They worship that eye in the sky. Okay? That's the devil right there. That's Satan himself. And his minions are here on Earth right now. And they can shapeshift. They can shapeshift. As crazy as that sounds, they can do this sort of stuff. I don't know how it works. I don't know if they're really lizard people. But I know they can do this because I seen two men in Arizona. I was camping on a mountain a year and a half ago in Arizona, and two guys come off the mountain, started camping with me, set up camp next to me, and we're getting to know each other. And the one night I watched them both right in front of me shapeshift. The one guy made his eyes move to the side of his head. The other guy made his arms about 4 times the size that they normally were when he flexes. They were both laughing and they were saying, "No one's ever gonna believe you until it's too late. They'll never believe you until it's too late," they told me. I don't think that's the case, though. They wouldn't be trying so hard to scare me if I wasn't, on the right track. I get death threats. Literally, anytime I leave my house, I get death threats from people. I have people following me around. I have it on camera on my YouTube channel. One of my older videos, I have footage of people following me around, filming me from multiple occasions. It's happened to me many, many times in the last 4 years. It was happening to my one cousin, um, and he got murdered. You know, it was written up as a drug overdose, but as far as I knew, he didn't use drugs. He drank, but I never knew he used drugs, and I was pretty close with him. And I think he was murdered. He kept telling me that he kept seeing Mexicans following him around, and the Mexican cartel is a big part of this. Like the old religion of the Americas, of a lot of the native tribes was the worship of these fallen angels. The Inca, the Maya, the Aztecs, the human sacrifices and stuff. This is what they want to bring back. This is the new world order. You know how they call it? Columbus discovered the new world. This is what it's talking about. The new world order is going to be human sacrifice, a religion of human sacrifice, pagan sacrifice of people to these fallen angels because they worship them as gods. They worship them as gods. There's only one single God. Everything else was created by that one God who loves all of his creations, but is probably pretty sick of what they're up to at this point and is completely aware of what they are doing and is trying to give them one last chance to make things right before they are judged for eternity. But they don't listen. They're drunk with power. They don't think that God will do this. God is infinite in all aspects except for one, and that's patience. At some point, God's patience runs out, and that's it. That's a wrap. End of the world. Complete destruction of creation and all of its creations. Do you understand, CIA shill watching this? Who you are messing with? God, the Creator. It blows my mind that they are doing this. I don't even care that they're taking over the world. I don't even care about the human sacrifices, except for kids. I think that's disgusting. I cannot believe that they would do that. What I care about is nuclear war. Nuclear war. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see that in America. I don't want to see this anywhere. America, China, anywhere. This is what they intend to do, okay? The Terminator movie series was a soft disclosure. They are building these things. They are building these freaking things right now. Robotic technology is far more advanced than what you think it is. Our technology is at least 300 years ahead of what we think we have. There was patents for virtual reality, lifelike virtual reality systems filed in the 1950s. They had virtual reality in the 50s that they were testing, never brought it to market. They had computers in the 1800s that they lie about. It was called the Babbage engine. It was clockwork, but it was a true computer. They used that to create even more powerful computers. My assumption is the first digital computers probably came out in the 1920s. We are being lied to. History is a lie. Everything is a lie designed to hide the truth from you that we are ruled over by these fallen angels. And they used CERN to free their leader, Azazel. Or they're trying to. I don't know if they have quite yet. I believe that he's free. I believe that that white skinned giant I saw was him. But I'm not entirely certain of that. I'm pretty sure it was him though, because he did tell me telepathically, pathically, that he is the enemy of mankind. These things have weird powers. They can come into your dreams. I've had that happen. They'll come into your dreams and they'll talk a language and it sounds like it sounds like snakes. Sounds like snakes talking. Let me see if I can find on Conan the Barbarian. This is another soft disclosure. They like to use Hollywood to disclose the stuff that's real. This fake religion, they're known as the Ophites. It's a Gnostic sect of serpent worshippers. Um, they were known as Scythians, and they were the pre-flood Atlanteans. Okay, they became the Egyptians, the Mayans, Aztecs. Any society that has these pyramids, it's this cult. Watch this. This stuff is real. When I saw that guy shape shifting, I mean, he didn't go that far. I assume he could have. They can appear like whatever they want. That's why you see depictions of these ancient gods having animal heads and stuff like that. I literally watched the guy's face morph right in front of me. Do you want to be ruled over by those things? Do you really want to see children being sacrificed in New Mexico? In New Mexico, I was exploring the mountains in New Mexico. I made a stop off in Albuquerque. I seen hundreds of kids being loaded outside of Masonic Lodge, a Prince Hall Lodge, into a trucks marked Covenant Transport. Hundreds of them. There was police cars. There was police cars guiding traffic to get them out of town onto the highway. I stood there filming it. A couple of guys come up to me, a fat Mexican dude and some other guy. They grab my camera, my phone. They grab it and they smash it on the ground. And they say, one guy says, "You think this is bad? You should see Santa Fe." And started laughing and walked away. I dropped to my knees crying. I was crying. I wanted to die. I took my hunting knife. Excuse me, I got a phone call. I'm going to pause this right now.